Hello and welcome to Good Simple Food with Michael. We are going to make no knead crusty bread today. This is super easy. Don't be intimidated by bread making. This has 4 simple ingredients. I have 3 cups of bread flour. I have added 2 teaspoons of just regular iodized table salt and 1 pack of Rapid Rise yeast. Do the Rapid Rise. Rapid Rise you can just mix in dry. You don't have to bloom it in water and all that beforehand. And then to that, let's mix that in just a little bit, make sure that's kind of incorporated in there. And then we're gonna add just a cup and a half of warm tap water. There we go. You don't ever have to touch this with your hands. When I say no knead, I'm not kidding around about that. We're just gonna mix this in, and all we're gonna do is make a little dough ball here. So just mix thoroughly until you kind of don't see any flour in the bottom of the bowl anymore. You wanna make sure it's all incorporated in. This gets kind of sticky. I know it looks more like biscuit dough right now, but it's kind of sticky. So if you can avoid handling this, touching this with your hands, that'd be great because it gets all over you. So we're just gonna continue to incorporate this. We're almost there. And like I said, this is the easiest thing in the world. You just need the time to mix this together and let the dough proof. All right, I think that's about it. All right, and I'm just gonna kind of form it into a little ball shape. There we go. And then I'm just gonna cover this with a dinner plate, and we're gonna let this proof 2 to 3 hours. You want it to at least double in size, but the longer you proof it, the more flavor develops in the bread. So we'll come back in 2 to 3 hours and take next steps. All right, so it's been about 3 hours. Our dough is proofed. As you can see here, it's doubled in size, maybe a little more than doubled. So a couple of things let's talk about here. First of all, as the weather starts to cool off, and I noticed this today before I started proofing, I'm doing this in a glass bowl, and the bowl was kind of chilly, and that'll stifle the growth of the dough. So all I did was I ran some tap water hot, rinsed the bowl out, not to get it hot or warm, but to take the chill off the bowl. And that'll help the dough proof properly. So I did that before I started this process. Also, now that the dough is proofed, the key to cooking this and making this come out right is using a really heavy pot. And so I've got a 10-quart La Crusette, which is a cast iron pot with a ceramic coating on it. And I have preheated my oven to 450 and put that pot cover on in the oven for 30 minutes to preheat. The pot itself is going to be our cooking vessel. So having said that, let's take our next step here. So we have our dough. I'm going to put just a little bit of flour here, of the bread flour, on our parchment paper. We are actually going to bake this in the pot on the parchment paper. So, and now this dough is extra sticky after proofing for all this time. So we're just going to kind of roll this out, and we're going to kind of do this right in the center as much as possible. There we go, of the parchment. And this is even stickier now than it was before, and I don't want to really touch it. You can see it sticking to the parchment paper even with the flour on it. So I've kind of got a somewhat round, don't worry about it, it doesn't have to be perfect, somewhat round shape there. So here's what we're going to do now is I'm going to move this aside, and we are going to take our preheated pot out of the oven. This thing is smoking hot, so be careful not to touch it. All right, take the lid off. And now we're going to place our dough and parchment paper into the center of the pot. I'm going to replace the lid. And we are going to place this in the oven and cook for 30 minutes. It's been 30 minutes. Let's see where we are here. Nice. All right, we've got a bread that's mostly baked now, so we're going to put this in the oven an additional 12 minutes, uncovered, because we want to get that nice crust on top. All right, 12 minutes and we'll be all done. All right, we should be all done now. Put that in for an additional 12 minutes. There we go. Got a nice dark crust on that now. Beautiful. And then be careful not to burn yourself. I speak from experience. Just pull this out. There we go. So, whoo! Be sure to let this cool about 15 to 20 minutes before you cut into it. It's possible that the very, very center is not done cooking yet. You want this to be complete. But a nice, beautiful, crusty bread. Super simple. I hope you will subscribe and follow for more recipes, and I hope you enjoy the bread.